Hello, everyone. My name is Deirdre Pike. I'm the Justice and Outreach Program Consultant for the Anglican Diocese of Niagara. I'm coming to you today from my home office in downtown Hamilton, where it's another Just Friday. It's Friday. Let's do a little justice work. So, of course, Hamilton is also the lands that were traditionally cared for by the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee Confederacy as determined by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. And we have great relationships with the Six Nations of the Grand River and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. And it is just a gift to be here and through the generosity of people from time immemorial, from the First Nations people of this land, that we are able to meet today. And it is even more a gift that I am not alone, and we are meeting, in fact, with Janice Whiteley. And I want to welcome you, Janice, to Just Friday. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Deirdre. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, that's great. It's great to have you here. Now, where exactly are we having you visit us from? And tell us a little bit about yourself, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Well, I'm coming to you right now from my home office, and I live in Burlington, Ontario, and have lived here for many years. But my original roots are from the north, and when I say the north, I'm referring to Northern Ontario. I come from originally from the Chapleau Cree First Nation, Treaty 9 territory, and part of the James Bay territory. My spirit name is Silver Thunderbird Woman. And I've lived here in Burlington for most of my adult life, but my roots are strongly from that area, and I reconnect there very often.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you. And thanks for sharing your spirit name with us as well. So there's some other really interesting news, really, and that's your role in the Missional School of Leadership with the Diocese. And I just wondered if you could talk a little bit about your role in that school and how you came to be a part of it. And yeah, tell me all about what you're doing there.
Well, it has been a real honor and a privilege, really, to be asked to participate in this. I have been teaching, or I did teach, one of the first courses that was offered, along with Val Kerr, the Archdeacon. She was the Archdeacon of Indigenous Ministries, just very recently retired. But so we taught first course, it was a 6-week length program, and it was called Connecting with Indigenous Knowledge, 2 hours a week. Delivery was very often like a shared delivery, and very conversational and interactive. Enjoyed it very, very much. Thrilled to be part of it. And we'll be looking at doing it again very shortly. A new one starts in February the 10th, I believe, till March 17th is the new one. Same course that we will be offering. And there's many others that are offered as well. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's great that it's not too late for people who get energized by this conversation and want to join. So what would you be looking at in those 6 weeks? What are some of the highlights of the course that you've come to put together? Because 6 weeks isn't a lot to cover so much ground.
And it's such a broad topic of connecting with Indigenous knowledge. My goodness, we could run whole programs on just that topic, right? So we had to be very astute and careful, trying to choose exactly what would be most beneficial for as many people as possible. So we spent probably, a good portion of our time at the beginning just trying to discern what is it that is most important for the people to have, be able to access that knowledge and just start to get in touch with it. It's by no means, comprehensive. This is everything you need to know about this. This is an introduction to some of the topics. So we started out very easily in some ways with, our own introductions, our own stories. Val is from a different First Nation than I am, of course. So we shared those stories. So we touched on subjects along the way that we, had to introduce a bit of the basic history at the beginning, because we really don't know where people are at when they're signing up for this, how much they know, how much they've been exposed to, that kind of thing. So we did some basic introductory type lessons. And then we moved on to things, we talked about the colonialism, we talked about things like the residential schools. We concluded our course with the spiritual apology from the former primate Fred Hiltz. Very powerful, and we felt it was so very important for the students to hear that. And I think we were right, because the feedback we got was just absolutely amazing. Leading up to that, of course, we had so much rich conversation, sharing that came out of the weekly lessons that we were doing, because the information would be presented more or less. There was readings and things for them to do along the way, exercises for them to do. And then we would come back together and share some of what our knowledge and learn back from them as well, share it with each other. So it was rich. Yeah.
Now, I believe you were using the Jesuit material that was created called Listening to Indigenous Voices.
Yes.
And yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And I wondered, besides yours and Val's, who were some of the other Indigenous voices that you introduced people to?
Well, certainly, referring them to and listening to what they would have to say about the input from somebody as significant as Senator Murray Sinclair from the Truth and Reconciliation, who he, as you know, headed up the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. His leadership in that, his input, and the impact. And of course, as we were teaching this course, right, it was right on the heels of so many of the graves of the children being discovered in these various from these various schools and whatnot. So having material from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and being able to refer back to the leading of Justice Murray Sinclair was really very significant and helpful to us. The school is there certainly to help enhance your knowledge and your working knowledge of what information. There's so much information out there, and to me this was a way to focus that information and bring it together, and then maybe help you, if you decide from there, I'd like to take another course, or I'd like to read this information or go in that direction. You could take one course, no problem, just standing on its own, or from there's certainly a variety of courses that are offered through the missional school and one enhances the other. They work together. Some of them are geared specifically to helping people on that path to ordination, but not all of them are specifically for that. Right.
We're all, I guess, called to be missional, right? And
for
so
sure.
How do you connect your course to mission?
I connected through telling the story. I think getting the information out there, whether we do it formally, sometimes as in a course delivery, and even a course delivery can be, we can sort of bring that to or put that at a level where people are comfortable to share. And I think that was very much what this particular course was about. Everybody has their own path, and they were certainly, the fire was lit, is what I can say. The fire was lit.
Thank you so much, Janice, for being part of our discussion today and for being such an important part of that initiative.
You're most welcome. My pleasure.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the next Just Friday.